What language do you dream in?
Oh, that's an interesting question. I am actually not sure what language I dream of, because depending on what country I am and what are the latest things that are happening and in which language I'm actually all the time speaking during the day, I think I actually dream in different languages.
What's your name and where are you from?
My name is Amancay Moreels, and what I'm from is actually related also to my name. My Amancay is a flower from Latin America, and that's because of my mom. She's half Argentinian and half Belgian. And my dad is French, and my family name is Belgian, actually. But I was born here in Barcelona, so what I'm from is a little bit from everywhere. And I would say a citizen of the world.
Excellent.
By now.
That's beautiful. You went to university, right?
Yes, I went.
What did you study and where did you study?
I study at the VUB in Brussels.
Okay.
I actually did biology. I didn't finish my studies.
Okay.
I studied only 2 years. And then I changed to law. I studied 1 year and I decided to stop studying.
So studying a little bit of everything.
Exactly. Yeah.
What kind of work do you do now?
Right now I have like 2 different jobs. One is consultancy. I'm advising and mentoring CEOs mostly, and mostly when they are growing their company or changing countries or targets or whatever. And at the same time, I'm starting a construction and refurbishment company.
Well, I'd like to thank you publicly for your support because it's helping us grow. So if people have not worked with you yet, they should at least reach out to you. And why did you decide to become an advisor at Homeless Entrepreneur? And what kind of impact do you aim to achieve thanks to this collaboration?
Well, I decided, I always had this need to help people because I've lived in many places in this planet and I was gladly enough able to relate to many different people from many different backgrounds, from people that were very, very rich and very well put up, and people that were actually the opposite, very poor and with very difficult situations. And so I had the whole scope in front of me. And I always had this sense of like everything can be improved and be improved actually. We all can improve our own lives and we all can improve our own society. And if we all do a little bit, then society could actually be better. So I've been helping people for a very long time. Yeah. I've been advising from sports people to CEOs, to artists, to anybody that would actually try to grow in their area, yeah, in an emotional or personal way, or otherwise in a professional way also. But then I was actually burnt out, yeah, because of that. So I decided to separate a little bit more my business and my need to help. And then I decided to go for a foundation or somebody I actually could relate to and could help out the way that I know how to help out. And that's how I met you.
Oh, that's great. And also in reference to the sports side, you do know that we're going to be doing the Great Walk to the Summer Olympics in Paris. What do you think about that initiative of going 150 kilometers, walking in 5 days to give 150 million homeless people a voice?
I think it's the best way to have any kind of positive visibility related to anything. I think sports has always been the way of the human being to show how to improve ourselves and how to push ourselves further. So it's a very positive way to do things, and I think it's a very nice way also to give a message without being nagging about anything or just putting negative energy.
If you had to think of a sponsor to support that kind of initiative, is there a name or two that kind of pops out to you that you think might be relevant to collaborate with for the Great Walk?
In Paris?
Yes, Paris and the Summer Olympics.
I would say anything that has any relationship with, or any brand that has any relationship or values related to improving yourself, pushing yourself further than your possibilities, trying to go one step further, the explorer kind of branding. Yeah. The stereotype of explorer, that would be like, I don't know, Jeep for example, has the Serestapo Explorer. That would be a nice brand to collaborate
We
with.
definitely get to Paris faster in a Jeep than walking, that's for sure. And regarding the vision
nice
of homelessness, what was your perception of homelessness before forming part of Homeless Entrepreneur?
Well, I actually was talking to a friend a couple of days ago, and she asked me about this interview, and I said, like, well, the thing that relates me to homeless entrepreneur, aside of the fact that I believe everybody needs to have their own dignity kept in society, and one of the basic stuff is having a home and a roof over your head, was the fact that when I was 9, I actually moved to another city with my mom and my brothers and sisters. We were four of us plus my mom. And my mom she was going to work for a foundation there in another city, in Bahía Blanca, it's in Argentina actually. And this woman had told my mom that when we arrived there would be a house for us because she would be the director of the foundation. And when we arrived, there wasn't any house. So we had to live 1 year in a station wagon.
Wow.
And middle in the foundation, so we were 100% immersed in this foundation people. Yeah. So we would like have our friends would be people from the streets, homeless people that would actually ask for food every day, people that had I don't know, mental, physical disabilities, girls that were 13, 14 years old that had to run out of the house and had to be sheltered by them. Oh. So that was 1 year of experiencing life outside of society, I would say. So I think that's why I relate so much.
Well, you got the full immersion experience without
100%.
asking for it, for sure, which I'm sure helps
in a very
with
young
the
age,
advisory
actually.
support as well, because you can empathize and understand. And how has your perception of people experiencing homelessness evolved since you started advising with this?
Well, I see them more now. Yeah, I see them all over, in the sense that my brain is actually now searching for those people in the streets. I also see the difference between what you explained the ones that really are still in society but outside of society just because of their current situation, and the ones that are totally out of society, and I don't think there is anything much that we can do to get them inside again, you know, like that's their way of life, and I can actually distinguish them a lot more than I would do it before.
They've created a home within homelessness, right? So
the streets is their home, actually.
Yeah. So we always respect what people do and where they go. We give them opportunities to improve their situation, but there is a difference between those that become accustomed and numb to their situation, and those that are not comfortably numb and want to become active workers of society again.
Exactly. But you can see that difference also in Latin America. There's a lot of people that actually live in the streets, and they have been there their whole life, and they love that life also. It's part of their natural environment. And those that are not. So.
Okay, and regarding your advisory support for homeless entrepreneur in our community, could you explain what kind of advisory support you're actually providing?
Well, when I work with a foundation or any kind of entity, I would say, I will always advise the people that are actually the leadership roles inside of that company, or in this case, foundation. Because whatever we create, we always create with our potential, but also with our limitations. So sometimes we try to work or do much more than we actually can or can handle. Sometimes we lose ourselves in details. Sometimes we don't see the big pictures because we are inside of that situation. So I'm the one trying to help out with that, creating the bigger picture, creating a line to follow, trying to help people not to get lost in the way. So that's more or less the way that I work.
And how have you seen our organization grow since you started? Because you've been helping for a little while. What's your perception of the change that you've seen take place, and also thanks to your support?
The biggest change that I've seen is that we are more focused than we were before. Before we were being able to touch so many things at the same time, but we wouldn't be able to really obtain as much potential from each movement that we created. And now we are more focused on one line, and every movement builds up a greater a greater achievement or gets us closer to a greater goal. So I think we are getting to this space where we become an arrow, and the arrow has more and more power and more intensity, and then we can become a vector, and that's the perfect alignment for a company.
Faster and more precise.
Exactly.
Great. And how important is it to be well advised in order to reach one's goals? What's the importance of being well advised?
For me, it's like from a scale for 1 to 100, 100.
Yeah.
But for anybody, for myself included, I think I always say to people, if you live inside a building and you can never get out of the building, it's impossible for you to understand how the building really looks like or how it's built. You cannot draw a clear map of that building because you are so much inside that you don't have this perspective that can actually give you that seeing it from outside. So we all need to have somebody outside of our own building and show us from the outside how it looks like.
Yeah, it's helpful because it helps, the scars and the beautiful aspects as well. Understand what you're doing well, what you need to work on,
exactly.
But from a objective
But also
standpoint.
our situation makes it impossible for ourselves to really see ourselves in a perspective mode. That's why we need other human beings. Otherwise, we wouldn't need other people if it wasn't for that. We always need somebody else's perspective on ourselves to really see, like this tale of the elephant and the 9 blind people.
Yeah.
Well, it's kind of the same thing. So if you really want to build something solid that stands time, I think it's very much needed to have that perspective from the outside, and also I have the wisdom of somebody that already have gone that path, so that it's shorter, less trouble, less money invested, less time invested,
I think
and a better result.
Advisory support is tremendous, and it really helps leverage everything we're doing. Regarding professional milestones, which professional milestone are you the proudest of, and why, you personally?
I think my professional milestone, the proudest that I am, is myself. How much knowledge and wisdom I acquired in every area I've been working on for the last, I'm 46 years. So the way that I tackle things right now, it's very different than I did 10 years ago and 15 years ago, and that's thanks to having gone through many things, good things and bad things, and having learned as much as I could from that. So.
Are there any quotes or anything that stick in your head that have served as a way to motivate you and keep your focus to grow? Is there anything that has kind of like been like a motto?
I've been a sports person my whole life. I've been competing my whole life since I started doing sport when I was 8.
Yeah. And
I was competing already and winning when I was 10. So for me, my way of living is how Jordan would do. Yeah. He said he missed 9,000 shots. Yeah. And he spent I don't know how many hours training just to get that success. For me, it's exactly the same. I think my proudest moment is always knowing that I'm a better version of myself than I was before.
Oh, that's beautiful. And in reference to your professional growth and reaching your professional goals, how important are social media channels like LinkedIn? Are they important for you? Are they not important?
Well, until now it wasn't really important because I've always worked one-on-one, so notoriety has gone from mouth to mouth instead of going through. But I think the world has changed, and there is a lot that we can do through social media, and especially being able to share your knowledge. And that's one of the things that I want to do in the future, is being able to share it openly to everybody. We're
always spreading the word about your great support, so at least you have that word of mouth going still. And regarding the challenges and benefits of collaborating as an advisor with Homeless Entrepreneur, would you like to highlight one challenge and one benefit?
Well, I think the challenge is the fact that being something that is social, you need to always have a lot of energy in making sure that you still help people, and that sometimes gets a lot of the energy, available energy is put it on that. So we can sometimes not go as fast as we could go if that was like a capitalism thing of growing. And sometimes I think it's something that people don't understand, how much of your energy and your focus needs to go to just keep on doing the work that you've been doing it.
Yeah.
So that's for me a challenge, because speed for me is everything. I've learned as a good sports person.
Yeah.
I want to have it today and tomorrow, if I can, yesterday. You know? And the good thing about it is the fact how I can see in the results what I'm actually advising for. I can actually see the results in front of me, and I can see right now I can see the scope of the scale that I could actually help, and how much that could make a big change.
Yeah.
And that's for me something that motivates me enormously.
Yeah, I do think it's a reflection of, our success, and when we succeed, it's because of the success of the people that we're working with. So just trying to magnify that. Now something fun that I always like to do. If you could get the attention of the international press, what action would you do and why?
Okay, good question. The attention of the national press, what action I would do and why?
Yes.
I always say, like, the best way to get attention is doing something positive, different than anybody else, creative, but also with a positive approach. So what I would like to do, and that's one of the things that we want to do, is create this huge event where thousands and thousands and thousands of people actually participate, that is focused on well-being and on having fun and on doing sports and on community and coming together, and having such an impact of the amount of people that actually come to each event, and doing the event in multiple cities, so that we all really have the quantity of people that impress the press.
Yeah.
To show people that even though homelessness is something that we try not to look at, and we feel uncomfortable by seeing it, and we even feel sorrow or fear whenever we see it in real life, that we still are human beings, and we still are a community as human beings, and we can do something about it in a positive way.
I'm looking forward to getting the international press's attention with you, and I'm sure we can do it. I have no doubts about that. And one of the last questions, not the last question, is out of all the interactions you've had with Homeless Entrepreneur as an advisor, which one sticks out the most and why?
Well, all the interactions, the thing that sticks out the most is the fact, first of all, knowing you and getting to know your brain that goes all over the place all the time. And also when you came with a great sleep idea. Yeah. And I was, is he really going to go to a minus 70 degrees sleep 5 days in a row in the snow, just to show people that we all can be in that situation? Is he going to, like, sacrifice himself as much? And then you went and you exceed yourself by doing 150 kilometers before that. So it was like, wow, I didn't expect that. I mean, I expected a lot of things from people, but I didn't expect so much sacrifice just to make a point.
Yeah,
it was beautiful to see.
I appreciate that, and also the challenge there is, how much do we have to sacrifice to give everyone an opportunity? Like, we're talking about 150 million people that are suffering and sacrificing. And I remember when I had the interview with CNBC International, and I was like, it's painful. I was in pain when we were doing the walk. But I did finish it because the commitment was there. But it is nothing in comparison with all the people that are suffering in homelessness right now. So it's kind of our way of showing that we will give our best, and we will be inside the people that we're helping. So,
Yeah, I think, but that's the thing. I think if we all did a little bit of more effort, just a little bit, then there wouldn't have to be people doing a big effort.
Yeah, that's what we're trying to do. I can't walk 150 kilometers for 5 days when I'm 90, most likely, but I'm sure I will be in a wheelchair doing that or something.
I'm sure you will.
I'll do something similar. And okay, now here's a question. If you could recommend other professionals to become advisors with Homeless Entrepreneur, would you? And if so, why?
Well, I think I would advise anybody that does any kind of profession that can improve anything. I would advise them to be advisors in some way to other people. I think one of the characteristics of being a human is also being able to help each other and to lend a hand. And the fact that you have been gone through, you can either go through life learning things, and that can be, again, in a physical, emotional, mental, or even work-wise, and only profit yourself and your inner circle, or you can actually, give that away to other people that can actually learn from your experience. And I think whenever you do that, and you give just because you want to give, it's one of the best ways to love yourself more also.
And also, I think when you give, it's because you have something to give. So it says a lot.
We all have
well.
something to give. It doesn't matter. I always say, we're all on the same road, and it doesn't matter if you have done 1 kilometer or 150 or 2,500.
Yeah.
You will always have people that have less walked than yourself.
Yeah.
So even if you can only advise for 100 meters, go ahead and do it.
Yeah, I completely agree. Now something for you. What can future homeless entrepreneurs advisors do to collaborate with you and help you and your business?
Well, I would love to collaborate with anybody that has any kind of value based on growing in a healthy way, not consuming, growing, improving things, improving society, improving processes, improving people, improving industries. Whoever would like to do that, I'm totally open to collaborate.
Okay, and the last one, if you could choose one person to support what we're doing, that's well known, who would it be? Send a message to that person. So think of the person that you would invite to join what we're doing, say their name, and send them a message directly to try to get them to be inspired to join what we're doing.
Well, funny enough, the only person that came to mind is Obama.
Okay.
And the reason I would actually ask him to participate is...
This is for him, so he's in the camera. Obama's in the
Dear
camera.
Obama, respectfully, a message to you. And the message will be, it would be lovely for you to help us. I think it's a cause that he can actually relate to, not because of himself, but because of his origins. Because we cannot forget that most of the people that live in the streets are African or South America. We don't have that big issue here in Europe, even if the issue in Europe is very big, and in the US is very big. It's very small numbers if you compare to other places, third world countries. And at the end of the day, he was blessed to grow in a country that's first world. Same was I and you guys. But if we want to help in a large scope, I would go for the whole planet. And if I will go for the whole planet, I will go for somebody that can actually have that power.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Nice interview.